Welcome to Showmance, guys, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth.
Dives as deep as the plunging necklines of Jessie Lawley's button-downs.
And Jax Taylor's new girlfriend, Paige.
Oh, God.
Technically, does that count as a...
I feel like we've officially discovered or can cement the fact that Jax is a boob guy.
Yeah, I think that's a thing.
I
yeah.
have a note about that girl.
You do?
She seems nice. That's my note.
That's a good note.
Real nice.
Well, we start off the episode at Janet's house with her breakfast casserole.
What's in a casserole?
It's a breakfast casserole. What's a casserole? All I know is the green bean one with the onions. That one's pretty good.
For Thanksgiving.
Crispy onions, green beans, a little cream of mushroom.
Says the pasty white dude from Newport Beach.
Jasmine, I'm with you, girl. I don't fuck with casseroles.
Yeah.
Well, besides the...
What are you doing?
I don't know. I just like squishing this thing.
Maybe
sometimes.
don't.
He's pretending that he's Jax, and those are Paige's boobs.
We started with Danny, and you were right. And we saw Watch What Happens live last night, and the two preggers were on there. And it turns out, he traded a house in Santa Clarita for a baby.
Yeah, he literally said it at the top of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty crazy. And then I also think it's crazy that Jesse was like, whether this was edited or whatever, but it was fun to watch. He was like, hey, can I FaceTime it? And then they cut to the new boyfriend. Like, no, sorry.
That was such shady
the
editing.
boyfriend's talking to her right now. That was pretty slick.
I did find it very sweet, though, how the little girl was like, I love you, I love you. He must be kind of a nice guy.
That's when I thought, like, not that I didn't think before, but I was like, okay, this could be a full-blown editing thing where, like, Aaron called 2 hours ago with the thing, and now that's actually Jessie that she's saying, I love you too. You know what I mean? Like,
Let's hope it's not that diabolical.
And also, Johnny, you kind of ruined me, dude.
Wait, who's Johnny?
Johnny Smile.
Oh.
I have been obsessed with Tiger Woods since
This is
1997. And I never once thought about Jason looking like Tiger Woods. And now I can't. I got my notes, Janet and Tiger. It will never be Jason ever again. Thank you for that.
No, Johnny, I literally LOL.
Totally.
I was rolling when I read that.
Yeah, so we got.
Because I was like, I knew it was somebody, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah, totally.
But now, because of Johnny.
Can't. Now I can't not.
Okay. Janet, you got to get over that was the biggest stretch ever to be like, I don't want to be around people who wish for the death of my unborn child.
Dude.
Like,
and that cry.
He was being like a sassy queen. He wasn't saying, I hope your kid dies.
No.
Hope you have a stillbirth. Like,
I know.
Janet, get over it. You're on a reality TV show. What do you think? You're going to get together and talk about rainbows and bunnies?
Yeah. He had always said, like, I feel like she just got pregnant, so I couldn't yell at her for a whole year. Like, so nobody could hold her to account for however long. I feel like he gave her 8 months of free reign, and that's not nothing. And she should be thankful.
Yeah, he had all that pent up energy.
Yeah,
Like 8
that's
months
what I'm
of not
saying.
talking shit.
Yeah, and like I haven't ever blamed Britney for this. I never thought about it, but like we're reminded that Britney was the one that called Janet and says, "Can I talk to you?" She's in her 8th or 9th month of pregnancy, and then she goes and calls Janet and says, "Can we meet up? I need to talk to you about something." And then Britney's the one that tells her about Zach said this thing, which why would you like that? Just doesn't even seem like Britney's MO. Like it seems very odd that she would be the one that would say.
And also, that's funny. No one's even like in any other show. That's a whole situation.
Yeah.
That Britney said
In Salt
the
Lake
thing,
Housewives? Oh my God. I'd have a whole episode about this.
Well,
I mean, last
about it.
season
Yeah.
started. The show started last season with Kristen saying so and so said that Janet was a racist or something,
Wait.
and a Republican. Or sorry, Michelle.
I think I'm confused. What did she say? What did Britney tell Janet that Zach said?
Because like Janet had already moved to the other booth, right? While this was all
No.
happening, she did because it was Michelle that was like
talking about with the
when he said it. The end of last year when he said the thing, apparently, she had already moved to other booth. It was Michelle that was like, you need to understand that when someone's this far along in their thing, and he was like, I don't care.
This is why I wish we did. I get that they really don't, unless you're a Housewives franchise, give
reunions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They don't give reunions to first season shows.
Yeah.
But if there was first season reunion, we would have had that question answered.
Yeah, and even though they don't give like big, like giant, grand reunions, they usually at least can have something in the clubhouse. You know, like doesn't hurt.
Did
but I think
Southern
that's maybe,
Charm get a season 1 clubhouse reunion?
I think so. Yeah, oh yeah, they had the first like few seasons in the clubhouse.
Yeah, it was almost. I want to say it was like definitely 3.
Yeah,
but
I was
maybe
just gonna
even
say
4.
minimum of 3.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Southern Charm, or I'm sorry, Southern Hospitality is what I meant.
Southern Hospitality is still in the clubhouse.
They're still there? Dang, losers.
But one thing I want to say about Janet is like I still need to figure out like what the details are of like the story about how Janet was married, lived in some other state, and was a Vanderpump fan, got a divorce, moved cross country, moved into Los Angeles, sought out this group of girls from this cast on this show, and like infiltrated their friend group. And like, if that is true, so much. Like, if that is true.
By the way, if that is true, I have done everything wrong, and I need to call Janet, befriend her, and be like, "Here are all my dreams. Tell me what to do."
Because she also, like, the way that she met Jason, or is that his name? The husband?
Tiger.
She like slipped into his DMs. I don't think he knew her. So like, she's like a go-getter. But have you guys ever seen a movie called Nurse Betty? It's with Renee Zellweger.
But I never saw it.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm not saying go see this because I do not know how it holds up, but I remember when I watched it at the time, my mom and I were like, this is the greatest movie that's ever happened. And it's like, it's Renee Zellweger. She's like this small town Kansas, like diner waitress. And she witnesses a murder. And so she hightails it out of town. Like you watch her kind of have this like this trauma reaction. And so she starts believing that she was once she starts telling somebody at this diner, like her first stop, that, well, she's, you know, oh, where are you headed to? And she's like, well, I'm going to see my ex-fiance, Dr. David Ravel. He was a world-renowned surgeon. But Dr. David Ravel is really some version of Dr. Drake Ramore, basically like a soap star, like on the soap, A Life to Live or A Life to Love or a Love Your Life. I don't know, whatever. She drives to Los Angeles, somehow figures out that this guy's going to be at a charity event. So she weasels her way in there and charms him, and they end up like spending the night together, dating, and then he gets her a job on the show. Anyhow, sorry, I know this is long, but like I could not help but just be like, this is crazy. There's so many parallels here. She gets a job on the show, and the second that she walks onto set and like sees all the cameras, like it snaps her back into reality, and she's like, holy shit, what the hell, what am I doing here? What's happening? She's really just this sweet little dove that has PTSD that you just want to take care of. Like this, she's a victim. That is not a parallel with Janet. Janet's a asshole. But like, I keep thinking like, that this is what Janet did. She decided like, oh, I know how this all works. I'm going to go there. I can be friends with them. I'm just like them. I know how this show works. Kristen, she's crazy Kristen. Nobody likes her. Like if I plant something, she'll take the bait, and no one's the wiser because like we're all pretty ready to throw Kristen out on her ass like whenever because she's had so many stupid moments. Like the fact that she was even able to pull off meeting these people and becoming actual friends with them is a success on its own. But Janet got greedy, and she doesn't realize that everything that she's watched is what it was on screen. I don't think she realizes that, like, no, crazy Kristen's crazy and all, but like she's here for a reason. You're not just going to get rid of her. Like you'll be successful in a first season when we're looking for some drama. But I just don't think that she realized that, like,
she didn't play the long game.
She didn't play the long game right. She thought herself a little too smart for all this. Listen, I know that, like, I don't know if the story is true about her. So like you can throw out this entire diatribe if it is not true. But like if that is what happened, I feel like that's why she's getting herself into a mess, is because she thinks that she's just going to, you know, plant bait everywhere and that people are going to take it. And whoever's in her way, like she can get them gone. But I am really excited to see like where she lands at the end of this season, because Beauty Queen doesn't like her. We know that by now. And if you can't keep Beauty Queen on your side, like she's so sweet. Like the only person with a bigger heart than her is Britney.
Yeah. And
Britney's clearly got like a deep capacity for shenanigans because look who she's married to.
Yeah.
So she cray.
She's definitely crazy. And I've talked about it before on other episodes that like if you watch Bravo shows long enough, The people that you love, you're going to hate. The people you hate, you're going to love. Whoa, wait. The people that you love, you're going to hate. And the people you hate, you're going to love eventually. And you're going to go back and forth if they're really great. And that's what's fun about it. And there's only 2 people, 3 that I've never flipped on yet. One is Jax. One is Lindsay from Summer House. And the other is Kristen. And again, if all of that is true, we've been talking a lot lately, Natalie and I, about like how, and I guess all of us, but like how a bunch of people really like Kristen. And I've never liked Kristen. I think Kristen's a Looney Tunes, just straight up crazy evil, like no thanks, great for TV, but like stay the hell away from me, Looney. But there's a ton of people that like her. And then at the end of last season into this, I'm like, am I switching on her? And so it would be funny that if what you're saying is true, it would be funny if Janet did did all her research and was like, watched all the seasons of Vanderpump and like thought she really knew Kristen and was like, I'm not going to with that dude Jax. He's the real deal. But like Kristen is so pro. It went right over her head and she thought she could with Kristen, but Kristen's like, no, bitch. I just play crazy on TV.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. Like, I'm a real person and I'm smarter than fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, why do all these people like her if she's such a Looney Tune psycho?
Listen, I have this note that gets us, it's talking about our next scene that happens where Kristen goes to Jax's, she's going to talk to him about like, I don't know if you realize this, but you are at rock bottom. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching this scene, I genuinely believe that Kristen would be there whether the cameras were up or not. And this is why Kristen, I think the reason people like her and the reason she has friends is because I think she's whack-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah.
But she's not a bad person. And I do think she genuinely cares about people. And I told you guys this, my old neighbor who I love and am friends with married Stassi. And they're together because Kristen set them up on a blind date. And for years, Kristen kept saying to my friend Bo, she was like, I'm telling you, you guys would be such a good match. And I think that that's the mark of at least someone who gives a shit. If you're saying, I think like, I want to set you up with someone. And now they have 2 kids and they're happy living in a house in the hills. So clearly she does some mitzvahs.
Yeah. I really think that she just sort of like, it's on her sleeve. Like she's gonna screw up a million times, but I just don't think that she's bad intentioned. And listen, we are in the beginning of season 2. I don't know where this is going, but like, again, she's got the beauty queen.
You know what it is? Kristen will screw up 100 times, but she will apologize 101 times.
Yeah.
So it's like as much as she puts her foot in her mouth, gets the details of a story wrong, she will gossip, say things that she's not supposed to. She is always willing, able, and ready to be like, sorry, I did that. And she used to apologize in a real crap way, but I do think Luke like takes her to task and says, no, an apology is I'm sorry, period.
Yeah.
No but after it. Like they went over that last season and I was very appreciative that he taught her that skill.
The episode that we did last week, like we cut a bunch off the top of it, but there were some bits in there that like would have been valuable to keep. One thing that I had told a story last week about how I just like wasn't a fan of Luke in season 1 because I just don't like people that move here and then just talk shit about California and like how you hate all of this, but yet now you're with Kristen and now you're on a reality show and living in like the most expensive
reality show about the town that you hate.
Exactly. All of those things. So, but I think I cut out the part that didn't make it was me saying that like it took like 1 minute of seeing him in this season. First of all, he doesn't have that weird hair anymore, so that's helpful. He had like bangs before. Like,
yeah, they really bothered you.
Yeah, I mean, they were like a bowl cut or something. It was just like, it was not cute. So that helped. But also like, I don't know if he's relaxed into himself or something. He was real uncomfortable last season, but this season he just seems to be like embracing and I like him 1,000 times better.
He probably got his fishing pole.
Yeah, he got
FedEx
that. Yeah, he got that FedEx. Yeah.
Can we dive into the scene at Jax's house in the kitchen with him and Kristen?
Yeah. Take your broken chair to the garage.
No, how could he? Because then he can't be the ultimate victim of his own actions. Because when someone walks in his house, oh, you can't sit there because my wife was cheating on me with one of the people in my friend groups. And she made me so mad that I had to break that chair.
Yeah.
So thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Like,
who cares if they sit in it and break their butt?
Right. Oh,
their,
can you believe
their tailbone?
They broke their back in my house. So now
yeah.
I have to deal with this.
That's true.
Jax is, if you look up victim in the dictionary, it has Jax's face next to it. He is the ultimate victim. It is so... You want to put your head through a wall when you're listening to him talk. Everything he says, even Kristen, who has had some real piss poor moments on Vanderpump and even on this show, and we're only like 1.2, seasons in. He's like, listen, I'm not trying to justify what I did, but she was asking for it. And she's like, but you are justifying what you did. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to say that this was unfair and this is
why I did it.
Right. It's like, do you know
Jax, what that word means?
I was just going to say, do you know what justify means?
He did the same exact thing in season 1 where he invites Luke to guys' night and then invites the ex-boyfriend,
Alex.
And I don't know if it was one of the guys or if it was the producer in a confessional that goes, so you blindsided Luke. And he goes, I didn't blindside Luke. I mean, I guess by definition, I blindsided him. And it's like, what do you think I just said?
Jax, that's how we all communicate. Yeah. We agree that this word means this thing. The next word means a different thing. And then we smash them all together in another thing called a sentence.
Jax doesn't bother with those kind of silly things.
Those details.
Yeah.
But what was the thing that he said that you were like, that is the truest?
In this confessional, when he was like, you've got a problem if Kristen Doute is coming to you before noon to like talk to you about your shit.
Okay, wait a minute.
That's it. Like right there, that's a wrap, Jax. Get in the car and go to the fucking rehab.
Yeah.
Like, call it.
But I have a note about this, and this could be just their clock could be wrong. I don't know what it is. But I was watching this scene, and in my second watch, I see that the iPad behind them says 555. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because 555, like 555, that 555 is the angel number for change. He's going through this big change. So I'm having like this spiritual, like, oh, I wonder if that's all real. And then they go to his confessional and he says the thing before noon. I'm like, this motherfucker can't even tell the truth about the time.
Oh my God.
She was there at 5:55 in the evening. Or the iPad just had the wrong time on it, but they're
iPads
attached
don't,
to
because they're
Wi-Fi.
satellite. It's not like when the time changes, you're not updating your iPad. It just does it.
Yeah.
At the end, he goes, you don't pay a single bill in this house. And she goes, I pay all the bills and the
property
mortgage.
taxes.
Yeah, and the taxes. Like, Jax is such a liar. My dad just used to talk about that all the time, about people's character and just like watching people do things like that and being like, how do you even look at yourself in the mirror? Like, is it not weird to you that you have your word means absolutely nothing to anyone? Like, even when they go back to his like the after show and he's sitting with Jesse and Schwartz, they are so used to everything he says being complete bullshit. They don't even care. They're just like, oh yeah, they just kind of like just let it go, because it's just like, to be friends with Jax is just to accept that, like, I don't know what he brings to the table, but it must be something. It's certainly not his word.
I literally have this note. Do you not have any shame?
Yeah.
If you can hear everything that people say about you, and categorically across the board, from your mom to your soon-to-be ex-wife to your best friend, they are all saying you are the world's biggest liar. Yeah. How do you know that Jax is lying? His lips are moving.
Yeah. How embarrassing.
It's shocking to me that he hasn't started like a Ponzi scheme, because everything he does is a lie.
Yeah.
Everything. I don't know how he qualified to get a mortgage.
Oh, they also said that, like, I never realized this, when he first met everyone, he said that he had gone to like I could be not hitting all of these points correctly, but the sentiment will remain no matter what I say right now. That he had like graduated from like the University of Michigan, that he was supposed to go like be deployed in
Kristen
the army
said all this.
Or something.
That's why I have my freedom
I have
tattoo.
A freedom tattoo. Like, he probably has a Semper Fi tattoo somewhere. Like, but like that, none of that turned out to be true. Like, he was just telling this whole backstory of himself, and like,
wait. You're talking about Jax?
Yeah.
Wasn't he in the Navy for 6 months or something like that?
Jax probably went to, like career day at your high school, where like everyone comes, it's like, oh, you could be a dental hygienist, you could be an orthopedic surgeon. And then like the people from the Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever, they all come. Jax had one meeting with them, walked away with a pamphlet, was like, I spent 6 months in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I was deployed to Afghanistan 17 times.
Yeah, like I've never seen a liar like him on television before.
Yeah.
It's sociopathic. It just was shocking to me at every turn in this whole episode, but specifically if we're talking about this scene where him and Kristen are in the kitchen.
Yeah.
He's just, I told her to check up on her husband.
Yeah.
I needed her. It's like, you are having girls over your house and having sex with them, but you also want your soon-to-be ex-wife to be checking in on you. You're just trying to create. It's like, you know how a magician is moving one hand so your eyes over here so you can't see what they're doing behind their back? That's Jax. He just thinks if he keeps running his mouth with all of these crazy lies. I can't even call them made up stories.
But he's not hiding his other hand. He's like too lazy to even like hide the thing behind his back. It's like sitting on the counter.
Yeah, so the white thong is with the baby wipe. It's just sitting on the counter.
Yeah, he's trying to do magic in a house full of security cameras.
Yeah.
It's just
like
wild to me.
Everyone can see behind your back. Also, there's a part in his confessional where he's like, I'm not trying to play victim here because I have no stake in our marriage. What the hell does that mean?
No stake in our marriage?
Yeah.
Jax is a moron.
Says some other fun words that you're like.
I think what he means is, my marriage is over. Who cares? So I don't need to worry about any. Like, he's trying to play the victim. Like, well, I don't need to care about this because she's never coming back to me. And it's
That's
like, right,
funny.
because you cheated on her and did coke the entire time you were married. Sorry you weren't husband of the year, you ding dong.
Yeah, not to jump ahead, but just on this topic of him being old unreliable.
Old unreliable.
Old unreliable. When the boys come over later and he's like, I'm sorry, I've been answering all these questions for like, he's inferring that like he's been talking to the treatment center for a week and like answering all the questions and going through all the like, oh, I got to do all these things in order to like see where I'm going to, what treatments I need. And then when the guy calls, he's like, so I really appreciate that you need help. So tell me what's going on.
Yeah. Like
and
clearly
like,
this is an inventory call, like
what do you,
like
what
the initial
intake
call.
call,
Yeah,
right.
intake call. Like we don't know anything about you. We're gathering the information
And
right
you said
now.
your name is Jax? By the way, he's such a liar. His name is a lie. His name's like Jason Kachi or something.
And not
it's
Jax Taylor,
no.
but
whatever. His stage name. Yeah, it's Hollywood.
So then we pop into Brittany's Airbnb. I actually really like Zach, and I think he doesn't bother me. I know
It's starting to bother me so much.
It's fine that you want to dye your hair. I need you to get like a good dye job.
I thought his hair looked better than it did last year.
It did, because he doesn't have the Lego helmet hair anymore. But
just take it step by like that was a big feat.
That was
because that really bothered you last year, and you didn't even give him any credit.
I know, because I was just no, I did last week. Maybe it got cut. I was like, this is what it's like talking to Zach. It's just like a wall of hair in front of you. But I like Zach, so I shouldn't be shady boots about his hair.
Yeah, there was a lot of performative crying in this entire episode. Like it starts with Janet, goes to Zach, does it, which is funny because they're both talking about each other and like doing a performance to Britney.
Right.
I feel like Zach is, maybe a little emotional and but doesn't like to cry because like he probably feels like, oh, dude, I'm gonna be the fucking gay dude that's crying all the time. And listen, I'm a crier too, so no shame here.
You're
Zach.
not a crier in like things that happen. You're a crier at like movie moments or like commercials that
I don't cry
really
at real life moments where you're supposed to cry.
Oh,
but
I feel
if
like
I see a little commercial with a puppy, dunzo.
I know when you got
or
teary.
a movie. What? Shut up. Anyways,
when Austin and Craig had their moment on the beach.
Stop it. No, I didn't.
It was acted out really well by Craig. Craig had a real good performance.
I thought that was real.
Maybe.
I'll tell you in a minute. I'll be honest with you guys, and I'll tell you here shortly when I got emo last for a TV show.
That just did.
That was a long time ago.
That was just a few weeks ago.
It was yesterday. Let's go. Carry on.
What was the TV show?
Weren't we watching the Laker game last night?
We were. That made me emo in the fourth quarter when they decided, let's not play basketball for 7 minutes. No, in the Valley.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know. I really have nothing to say more though about them being.
I have one thing to say.
Okay.
Please.
Sorry. Why is Bravo so like down to expose people's green card marriages? Like, fuck, man. Cut that shit out. This is like, let these people live their lives. Like, rule on Summer House.
I know.
Zach is about to go to jail for this dude.
I don't know though if when he was like, oh, apparently I seek out drama because now I met a guy, I'm in love with a guy who's about to get deported and is still married but separated.
Yeah, also,
well, but if he's got a green card, if he's married,
He's
I think he
probably
might be
married to a
married in
Canadian.
Canadian. Yeah. The other thing about that scene is that when Brittany's telling Zach about the text from Jax that says, you know, you can send like these nudies to this some dude.
you have time to send
Yeah,
nudies
but
to
you
the
can't
dude,
even
but you
check
can't
up on your husband. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but she's got this like smile strapped across her. Like there was visible joy exuding from her face when she was telling this story. And I really think, and I am not judging at all because she could come over to Jax's house and pee in all of his shoes every day. And I'd be like, you earned that, dude.
Yeah, that's on you, bro.
Yeah, that's on you. You got to get your punches in somewhere. Like if I'm her, I think I would probably, and these rules that they talk about, we had these rules, like I don't know what rules that they had, but like there's no rules when you separate and you're a reality TV star. And I think it's funny when people are like, well, we agreed. Like unless it's a court stamp document, then like.
I do think it's crappy that you, like if you have one rule that everyone's going to abide by, like don't bring people into the house that I'm paying bills for. Like,
yeah.
Like, and you having sex in.
So like
that
I'm
seems
I don't agree with you. I think there should be some rules.
Me too.
And I think that
they're not gonna, these guys, do you think Jax Taylor's gonna follow a rule?
I mean, no,
Well,
but
clearly
like that
we know
doesn't
the
mean there
answer to
shouldn't be
like
rules.
it's just funny that she thought that like she could actually give him some rules.
Yeah.
He's gonna have 10 strippers in there one night, probably 7 days a week. Probably already has.
Yeah,
Well-
I think that the friend thing was a little bit much.
I listen.
And I don't even know if it was a punch on Britney's end. I think she mentioned last week something about how he made her feel just pretty and special and wanted, which is something Jax hadn't done in a long time. And that shit will spin you, dude. Like that, like if you're not getting that and then it doesn't, like you're blinders, like oh yeah, him.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened. I don't think she was being mean. I do think she should have like shooken off the blinder and been like, oh, no, I can't do this with somebody.
But
and again, I don't think they're best friends or whatever. But like, if he's even
he was just
remotely
an
in the group,
ancillary part of their group. He's like a hanger on that wants to be a part of the group. Which again, she still it wasn't the best.
I think she
look
could. I don't think
to
Brittany's
hook up
gonna
with
have
him.
a problem getting dudes. You know, so like, go find a dude somewhere else.
I just think
maybe?
it was easy and like
That's
she
what I
knew
think so,
him
too,
and
yeah.
she probably felt like, oh, I can trust this person.
That's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Women seek out things that are so different from men. So like her saying don't fuck anyone in our friend group would be a much different weight to carry, a much lighter weight to carry for the dude, because the dudes don't really care about that stuff. But for a girl, I don't think that she's been with anyone. How long have they been together and married? Probably 10 years.
Yeah.
She probably hadn't hooked up with anyone else in all that
Yeah.
time. And so for the first one,
Probably.
like after
I mean,
my divorce, the
definitely.
first
Let's hope
person that
so.
I got together with was my ex-boyfriend from high school. Like that's like the first, like I just wanted someone that like I already
Familiar,
knew inside out.
safe.
There was gonna be no surprises here. That lasted like a year and a half. So I understand like that comfort zone, regardless of like what a good look is. I just feel like when you're talking about Jax Taylor, why would anyone owe this dude anything? Like he has just
There's
gone
that.
so far above and beyond.
Yeah.
To be the worst of the worst, that it's
Yeah.
just like the rules don't apply to you.
Yeah,
on a
I
certain
mean,
level,
she'd
'cause
have
you're
to,
that awful.
do a train with the whole cast before I'd be like, maybe that was in poor taste.
Yeah, but just by one person.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact that you filmed it, like
Yeah.
you didn't need to bring in the
exactly.
camcorder.
You didn't need to film it on the iPad that your son uses.
Mommy.
Guys, can we
What?
talk about getting to, when Michelle gets to Jesse's house?
Yes.
Because I could I could run out of paper. I've written so many notes about this guy. Does he not wind you up the way that he winds me up? Or maybe I take him the most personally.
I just think you're not looking at Michelle at all. And I think that Jesse is so obvious, and like we've seen this dude so many times, and like it is like pure evil. But like, I just want you to kind of like watch the scenes again and just watch her.
But like, what do you mean? Because I came up with a thing, and then it kind of solidified. Like it. These two are interesting. So I have a couple of things to say about just in general this season and what this season can be. For those of you who joined us on our Southern Charm ride that it went nowhere for a bunch of episodes, like that was a bummer. And we all kind of blamed the producers, at least on this show, like whatever, you got 9 good years, you had a shit season, whatever happens.
Yeah.
This season, if they pay attention, and granted, it's probably done or close to done now, but I hope that these guys paid attention, because this season could potentially, I don't want to go like the E word, but this could be a really interesting look into 2 different types of disintegrating marriages. Mm-hmm. One is got cheating potentially, and one is got addiction and aggression things going on. Like those are 2 super serious things. These are 2 marriages that seemingly at one point, I'm sure they all do, but like we're like, oh no, these 2 are going to be great. Jax got a Britney, but like she's going to change your life. Oh, you that up. All right. Well, we're not surprised. You know what I mean? Like,
so what's the E word?
An Emmy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do Bravo shows ever win Emmys?
Top Chef.
I think like Top Chef, and
yeah.
I think it's always like In Treatment or like Marriage Couple Count, like what like the real serious shows, right? And rightfully so. But this is a silly reality show about couples in the Valley that used to work at a bar in West Hollywood, and they're going through real gnarly life stuff.
Yeah.
And if the producers pay attention, they could really have something amazing here that could live for a long time, right? That being said, Jesse and Michelle, I'm going to go back and forth and spin around forever on these 2.
I know.
And then I'll be like, oh yeah, I got it. And then I'll read some comments and I'll be like, oh crap. Somebody, I don't know who it was. Somebody just left a comment recently or today, I think, about Jesse that made me just have a whole other viewpoint on him. And then my thing, I don't know what your take on Michelle, but my note is like, I love how strong she is.
Too.
Every single time she's with him, she's strong and like forceful and powerful. And like, I am not letting you do
and
this
she
to
goes
me.
in calm. She doesn't raise her voice.
Yeah. I mean, yes. If there was a point for that category, I'm giving it to Jesse because he's just better at it. But I get, like we talked about, a little when she went to have lunch after that. I know we're jumping out of that scene. We can go back to, but when she went to have lunch and she was telling the girls and she started like, she started crying. I was like, oh shit, you're a real person. You have feelings. Like it just kind of hit me. I was like, because we go from this scene where I was just like, dude, she's nailing this, dude. She's so strong. She's got this shit figured out. And then to like see that she knows super emo about it, and that girl was being like, you know, at just like you've had that feeling of like, oh, you're adrenaline out and you're killing it and you fucking murdered it, and then an hour later it's all gone, and you're like,
then the other emotions
dude,
hit.
I'm kind of bummed about all this, you know. That just made me really think twice about her. I'm always thinking twice about Jesse. Do I hate this guy? Do I love him? Is he real? Is he not real? So I'm just agnostic on both of these people, but so interested in watching what happens.
I don't think that she's perfect in any way, shape, or form. Nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I think that he is such a prick. Mm-hmm. I think everything that he is doing from every angle is trying to needle her.
Yeah.
And I also think you don't get to play smart and stupid at the same time. You don't get to be some big swinging dick and then say, don't you think that it says something that Isabella says that I should get the dog because she doesn't want me to be lonely while she's at mommy's?
Mm-hmm.
How about this, bro? How about you put on a brave face when your daughter's there so she doesn't know that you're hurting inside? Because do you think the single mom who's working 3 jobs, who's doing everything she can to keep her kids' world spinning and get them to school and do their homework and all this stuff, she's crying in her closet after the kid's gone to sleep at night?
Yeah.
Like, he's such a... he drives me crazy. He's such a weenie.
But the
It's
weenie comment he made wasn't like that was a weenie comment, but it was when he was like, Michelle just thinks I'm a
I know.
absentee dad who goes on trips and
Michelle
leaves
thinks I rely on nannies and put Isabella in front of an iPad. The truth is, I'm struggling with work, personal life, and being a single dad.
Well, I think he said, I'm struggling with managing, like something along the lines of managing being a dad, work, and having a personal life. I'm like, that's the comment that I'm like, bro, no, you don't. I'm sorry, you don't get a personal life right now. You got married, you had a kid, and then you got divorced. Like, personal life is gone for now until you figure out this situation. So I don't necessarily want to hear you crying about how you want to figure out your personal life.
I literally have your name here. I said, right, dude, it's called life. It's called adulting. You had a kid, stop crying about it and just get shit done like every other single parent out there. It's like Mike said, this was your choice.
Yeah. Why, you hate us?
You guys? No.
Right.
So he comes in. I wish I could do this. I'm envious of this. I can never execute a strategy. I fall apart the second I walk in the room. I don't care if I've been strategizing for a month on something. It's like all over the second that like I'm confronted with the situation. But
Hi, Natalie. Nice to see you. I can't do
this. So he walks in and just like immediately tries to like take control of the situation. Like, here's how this is going to work. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to drop her off on this day. We're going to do this. I don't care that you've said this about me. Really shows so much more about you as a person than anything about me. He has that like swinging dick immediately all the time, which is like a smart business move. Like when you come in and you don't give anyone a chance to not like something, you only offer up what'd you love about the house? You don't say like what'd you hate about it? You know, like he's got something about like he's studied this. He's good at his communication, trying to manhandle a conversation. It's just gross here because this is his ex-wife and the kid is involved. But when I had said like last week that I was just like worried for Michelle because like this guy's coming for you. If you don't have, you said if you're going to shoot, you can't miss. Yeah. Like she's going to have to really think about, is this show worth it to her? Because if the more she's around him, the harder he's going to go for her. So like, if there's any risk here that you might regret taking later, like now's the time to like think about that and see what the call should be. But then Joanne Greco chimed in and was like, it was Nettie. Nettie said that she is a very formidable opponent for him. And she's totally right. Like there's not a better person to go up against him. He tries to control. She is calm and cool and collected, does not react, already knows what he's going to say. So she's got it like on deck of like what her response is going to be. But then she, just like any human, shows some cracks that just remind you that like these two are worthy opponents because they're both like, they didn't get here from nowhere. They didn't meet for no reason. They didn't get married and have a kid. He says to her, you're gonna bring her here on Saturday and drop her off with the nanny. And she says, what nanny? And he says, it doesn't matter. And she goes, oh, it does. I'm her mother. I want to know who this nanny is, which I am 1,000% on board with. Like the mother of a 4-year-old should have a background check on anyone that.
Well, and the dad should want the mom to know who it's right. Weird that was the weirdest thing I ever heard in my life.
So then she says, it does matter. I'm the mother. I get to know who it is and whatever. And he goes, every time I've tried, you always tell me, oh, you're always using my nannies that I hired. And she goes, well, I found them. What's the problem here? Like you found them. So clearly like you interviewed and chose to go with this person, hired them yourself. What's better than that? but you want to like not let him use your nannies, but you're acting like you're pissed that it's crazy that he would think he would use a nanny that she didn't know. Like that was just like was a knee-jerk reaction that I don't think that she probably meant to let come out that way. It's just like she's playing games with him just like he plays with her. The next time in that same conversation is him doing his like where he realizes that he needs to, be empathetic or whatever, look like he needs some empathy from people by going, I don't think I should be alone on both holidays, and kind of starts to tear up. And she goes, you love to cry. You always do this. So I seem like this cold-hearted bitch and you seem like this sick, sad boy that I'm just like, don't give a crap about and whatever.
Those tears dried up faster
100%.
than the blink, in the
100%.
blink of an eye. It was the fakest cry in the world.
So like, I'm going to just assume, because we don't know the backstory on this, but when she says, it's my turn this year, I just assume that maybe he had her for both last year. I don't know. But at face value, what it seems like is that she's in charge this year. It's her right to have this. And she's going to make that decision on whether like to hand her over for one of them or not. Totally her choice. She's going to stick to her terms, or she's going to say, whatever. But she doesn't say like, let me think about it. Like, or I'll figure it out, or let me see what we're going to do or whatever. She says, well, it depends on how you treat me, and it depends on how things are going. And it's like, no, bitch, what your personal life is, your personal relationship with this dude is how you're getting in arguments, how you're frustrated in these mediation sessions. None of that should be a component in it. Should be what kind of holiday is Isabella going to experience? Like, do I want to keep her Thanksgiving and Christmas? Like, or should she be with her dad on one of those? Do I talk to my therapist about that? Like, what's that like? If like a kid misses two of like the biggest holidays of the year with her kid, like what's the balance like? But like she's now doing, well, depends on how you treat me. So I'm just trying to say that these people found each other for a reason. They're both excellent at their games. She, to me, is much more, it's so much easier to feel empathy for her because she's a mom and she's quiet, and Jesse's just so obvious with his, like, he's not masking anything. The tears are almost like, oh God, this is even more, because we all see right through your tears. She's better at this, but she is a formidable opponent, an opponent of Jesse, because Jesse is a massive narcissist. And she married him. She had a kid with him. And she has a personal life. She lives with her boyfriend now. She moved Isabella in. When he tries to ask, if you have a girls' night, I should get first right of refusal rather than leaving her at home with this dude. And she's like, no, you don't. He comes to find out later, he calls the guy and just says, like, I think that this is what should happen, according to Jesse, who fucking knows. But according to Jesse, the guy said, no, we already talked about this. Of course, I'm not here to be a caretaker. Like, I am her partner, but like, I'm not here to step in that way. Of course you should have that. So like they'd already talked about it, but she's going, no, like, it's just like, it's all a game. They're just, I think I said it last time. They're going to be playing a game of badminton back and forth all season.
I mean, every divorced couple out there is like going, yeah, lady, like that's what a shitty divorce is.
Yeah.
Is a stupid fucking game.
Right.
That should like.
So I'm just saying, like, it is divorce. You make this decision. First, you make the decision to get married. Then you make the decision to create a life. And then you make the decision to leave. And then all the things come from that. Again, it's not new. I've been through it a jillion times. When she says, oh, Isabella came home the other night and said, Daddy, I saw a lady in Daddy's bed. I went home one weekend at 4 years old or whatever I was, and I said to my mom, Daddy has a new friend. She has curly red hair, and we had a sleepover.
Oh, my God.
And then my mom calls the judge the next day because my mom was always like, and there it is. Hi. Like, she was always trying to get more custody because my dad was a wrestling coach at the University of Oklahoma. He's like in the prime of his career. And so he would have tournaments and away matches and wrestling camps all the time. And my mom would be like, why don't you just leave her with me this weekend? Clearly you're busy. And he'd be like, no, I'm not doing any of that. But my mom remarried, and like, these are just all choices that people make. And then you got to deal with all the bullshit shenanigans. So it just is like, I just don't think that there's like a black and white, right and wrong. Like these two people made their decisions to act how they acted, do all the things that they did. And now Isabella is going to be the one.
You are completely correct. And for the first time ever, I think, you know how you always say to me, Courtney, you break down these people and look at this from like an idealistic place of like, don't you want to reach for your better life? Don't you want to be the best version of yourself? And I'm like, yes, this is what they should be wanting for themselves. Okay. But that's not how it works. And so I think what you're saying about this couldn't be more correct. They should be able to stick to what the mediator says. But just like how Michelle said in her confessional, she goes, we make these plans and then he reneges on all of them. And so when she comes in and they're talking about the schedule for the umpteenth time, I think why she gets so biting back and is using these pieces to barter for like, well, we'll see how you treat me. Because she realizes like, I can't bring a knife to a gunfight. I'm going to lose. And she realizes she's there with two guns, whatever his name is, Jesse. Like she's got to beat him at his own game. And I just have seen it so many times with divorce from the outside completely. So I don't know this firsthand, that you want to just be logical about these things. Usually there's one parent that maybe could be like the cooler head prevailing, right?
Yeah.
But then they've dealt with this person that is just stonewalling you at every single turn, that you're just like, you know what? Then I have to be a jerk off because you are incorrigible, because there is nothing that is going to happen that is going to make you a logical, kind, malleable, easy person to deal with.
Yeah.
And I think that because Jesse is such a historical revisionist, like last episode when he was like, a weight was lifted off my shoulders when she moved out. Yeah, maybe 6 months later you felt some relief, but that's not what we're talking. That's not how you meant it. That's not how you said it. That's not what you were trying to convey to the audience. You're trying to be like, yeah, I'm footloose and fancy free. I got some birds dangling off my balls. I'm dating. I got a friend down in Newport Beach we'll get into. Oh no, this is the scene, who's apparently hooking up with someone on Baywatch.
David Hasselhoff?
It has to be.
Don't hassle the Hoff.
Bro, I'll be like, sorry, bro, you lost that one.
Like, what are, like, so he's just building himself up, right? In all of these different ways. And he even says it in every confessional. You'd think this is how Michelle knows, because she says everything he's doing is to get under my skin. Yeah. Everything.
And we all agree on that.
And he says it in all of his confessionals. He's like, yeah, of course I did that just to piss her off. And so do I wish we lived in a world where she could just say, listen, I'm so sorry that things ended up this way, but here we are. And I just want us to be the best, most agreeable team.
Do you think that she says that in those off moments? Do you think that she's like, Jesse, I don't want, like, yeah, she doesn't, because they're both, they're not the
that's
same
what I'm
person.
saying. I wish that she would say that, is what I'm saying. But I don't think that she does say those things, because she's married to a crazy, or, you know, her ex-husband is the most difficult person on the planet. So it's like, listen, I know people and have experienced people that I don't like to fight. I don't like to go for the jugular. But if I get into a fight with this person, I either can have to swallow everything and just walk out of the room and never have my voice heard, or I have to fight in the manner in which they fight, because that's the only way this is going to get hashed out. And it doesn't mean that I have to be a degenerate, but I have to really play by their rules. Yeah. And I think that that's what she's doing with Jesse.
I think all of that stuff, I think that I don't feel bad for her. I think that this guy has been this guy since the day that she met him. And I just think that it's a big deal to have a child with someone who you know is a crazy maniac, and then expect anyone to actually be like, oh, I can't believe, like, he's such a jerk. no, we can all believe it. Like this guy
We
is.
told you that before you had a kid.
Yeah, like, and it's just like people just need to stop having children with narcissistic sociopaths.
You're totally right. I don't think because when I started off talking about this, I wasn't saying like, let's talk about this because I feel bad for Michelle. I'm saying, does he wind you up the way he winds me up? I'm not saying as much that I feel so bad for her, even though I do feel badly that, whatever, but you're right. She made this decision. That makes perfect sense.
She also looks like she's into this though. Like there are moments when you see it on her face, like she likes this. I think that she would not be happy if like these two people, this is a joint effort to reach these toxicity levels. Like this isn't just like a one-man band. This is a two-man show. And so I think that like if he stopped doing those things to her and just like went off and lived his life and like was like, hey, do you mind keeping Isabel this weekend? OC girl and I are going to wherever, Aspen or whatever. I think she would like that less than like, because it would mean that he didn't care to roust her anymore. He was totally happy elsewhere and didn't give a shit to do his natural thing of like jab, 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 get a reaction. Like, I just think that so it's not just about like, yes, I definitely have a vendetta against people who just like have kids and then like that kid is going to be bounced around her whole life. And you can already tell just the way she's like, I'm having this. And like this kid is like, I think she's adorable and I'm having a great time watching her. I don't know how she's going to be to play with on the playground. So it's obvious it's the kid thing, but it's also that I think that she is better at masking her games, but I think she's been into them, and maybe she got a little in over her head and didn't realize it was going to be this gnarly. Because now every mother does want the best for their kid. It breaks every mother's heart to see their kid having to be passed off or go away and not know who the nanny is or know. My mom, it was tormenting to her.
Oh my God! And to both of their credits, I think they both are good parents. I do. I think they both love this kid so much. I think she's a sweet little girl, but I do think that. What drives me the craziest about the situation is him. Even last year when they were just having problems, he was public enemy number one for me, regardless of if I feel bad for her or not. Why I always have like just this fiery venom shooting out of me whenever I see a scene with him is because his game is so tired. It's so transparent. You're not that smart and you think you are the smartest dude in the room. You think you are the most cultured dude in the room. And it's like, bro, just be, if you just focused on being a better guy, you wouldn't be so worried about being the cool guy. Well, and you're not. So have at it with your friend down in Orange County who's having sex with David Hasselhoff.
He is.
I like him.
He is the cool guy, though. Like whether you think that's cool, like he in his brain when he was little, he saw that guy and was like, "That's the cool guy." Sweaters, capri pants, loafers, real estate, aviators, or Chateau Marmont,
Porsche.
No, yeah, Porsche. He didn't even say it right. Like that. That's what I'm gonna. So. He got that, right? And now in that group, he's definitely the cool guy, right? Like if you're going on Watch What Happens Live and Andy's like, all right, who's the cool guy in the group? They're like, Jesse. Unfortunately, it's not any of those other nerds. Like, you know what I mean? So like, he is all those things. We don't like it. You don't like it. I don't think that's cool.
I'm not saying that relegated to this show. I'm saying if he walked in here into this room, he would think he was the smartest guy in this room. If he walked into this room, he would think he was the most cultured guy in this room. I'm not talking about cool. I'm talking about he thinks he's the smartest. He thinks he's the most cultured. He thinks that he's just better than.
Yeah. Okay,
and it's not relegated to the Valley crew.
Right. So let's talk about the Valley crew. Maybe with the exception of Jason, do you think he's not the smartest guy in the room?
With the Valley crew?
He probably is. He's probably the most cultured in regards to like traveled and
go
wines
for the gold,
and
get
knows.
It done.
Again, I'm not trying to defend him as much as saying like Michael Jordan thinks he's the best basketball player because he's the best basketball player. Whether that's cool or not cool or what, like that's just what it is. In Jesse's little world, he is the coolest guy. He is probably the most cultured. And he's probably, if not the smartest, amongst the one or two.
But we're talking about two different things. I'm not talking about his life on the show. I'm talking about his life writ large. In Jesse's life,
which is seemingly the people on the show.
No, when he goes to his, member last season, he's like, every Wednesday or whatever, we go to this gentleman's lunch. Or, you know, when he's at work, when he's outside, he knows other people than Jax, Tiger Woods, Karen Jr., Jasmine, Zach, Britney. Like, he's not just friends with these people.
Sure. I would imagine he thinks that he's the top in all those things because he makes sure to surround himself with people that are probably just a little bit less than he is. Or if not, he surrounds himself with these gentlemen luncheons that are $20,000 and these big time clients. And because he thinks I am one of these people. So like, again, I'm not saying he is, but
right, and that's my point.
I'm not saying he's not though. Like I'm not.
You think Jesse's smarter than you?
Than me?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know Jesse other than this TV show. You know what I mean?
Like, this is my point. Like Jesse's. It doesn't matter. It's a silly point to.
He hasn't shown me that he's dumb.
You don't have to be dumb to not be the smartest person in the room.
I'm just saying, like, I can't sit here. Right? Do you think you're smarter than Jesse?
I think I have a higher emotional IQ than Jesse.
But do you think you're smarter than Jesse? Is what you asked me. Do you think Jesse's smarter than you? More intelligent than you? Whatever. Like, you don't know. Is my point. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You hope so. I hope so. I hope for you and I hope for him. But we don't know because he's just on a TV show.
Yeah.
You know?
But, well, we could say that you're smarter than Jax.
I mean.
The thing about Jax and Jesse is that you're never worried about what Jax is saying. Like, it's not going to come in later. You take what he says, like his words mean absolutely nothing. You can be like, how everybody does. Okay, Jax, like, cool. Jesse is going to leave us, I think, probably 50% of the time going, he's not wrong. Or I get that.
Who's leaving us going that?
Jesse.
Oh, right.
Like, there's a lot about him. He is very intelligent, I think.
Yeah.
He's got some obvious behavioral issues that are never going to make him an attractive person to me, because that's never been narcissists have never been a thing for me. They just haven't. I know many women who are sociopaths. Sorry. Yeah. Tendencies maybe. Hey, Craig. but but not a straight up, textbook. Anyhow, my whole thing is to say here is that he's going to rile us up because he's wearing all that on his sleeve. He might think he's smarter and that it's coming off different. It's not. Those tears were the worst. I mean, they were worse than Janet. I believe Janet more, and I think
crocodile
Janet is Nurse Betty. I think Janet is having a delusional psychotic break. Yeah, and I still believe her more than him. But Michelle is just not the innocent little lamb that I think she would like us to believe. She's a little bit better about putting that on. But just like I said, you don't get involved with a person like this. And I saw those cracks. Don't complain about the nanny if you won't give him one of yours that you've already hired. There's no other kids. So I was trying to think of all the reasons that this would make sense and not be a good thing. There's no more kids. It's not like, oh, I'm using her tonight and now you're trying to steal her. No, this is for one kid. So you don't care about who the nanny is. This is one thing you're arguing about.
But maybe she does it because she knows if the shoe was on the other foot, he wouldn't. Other foot.
Who cares? It's the kid. Are we not here for Isabella?
No.
Or are we here for the fights?
But this is my point with saying
We're
that,
here for the fights.
Yeah, Mike and I are here for the fights. This is my point in saying that, in an ideal world, yes, of course they would both be acquiescing to whatever the best thing for the kid is. But if one person is fighting with a gun, the other person has to fight with a gun.
Do you think that that there's no chance that she just saves her shit for off camera? And then she obviously, I think she slipped on that nanny thing. Cause I just think it was so transparent in that moment. It's not about the nanny. It's about whose nanny is it? you don't think that she just has a better way? Like he thinks that he's so smart that he's going to show it all to you on camera and be so believable and that nobody sees through his bullshit. She's smart enough to know, like, I'm going to do what I have to do in conversations, not in front of America, because that is the smarter thing to do. Jesse is not a good actor, and that he's not, that's where he's not smart. He thinks that we don't see this. He's clear as day what he's trying to do. She might I just want everyone to like leave it open, the possibility that she might be playing a pretty decent role into where things have gotten, but she's just calm, cool, collected. That's what she shows us every time. She doesn't he's the reactor. She's non-reactionary. What happens when the cameras aren't in their conversations?
Listen, it's definitely part of her personality to be more placid. It's who it's like her baseline. Like, does Michelle have a pulse? Is like a little bit of her baseline. And I think she's like that everywhere in her life. Even when she's sitting down with the girls and she starts to get really emotional and starts to cry, like when I cry, you're feeling it in Connecticut. I'm like a very surprising, I know, but I'm a very emotive person. I feel like it's who she is by nature. And then I also feel like she was with him for so long that she realized just how Britney was like, I just took Jax's horrible behavior and I would shove it down and I would cook it and I would break out in rashes. I would throw up all the time. Remember last season? She was sick every episode. She said, I broke out in hives every day for a year. Body parts started going numb. I went to the hospital. They were like, there's nothing wrong with you. It's stress. And so I just wonder if the same way Britney learned how to absorb Jax's volatility and erratic behavior and addiction stuff, I wonder if Michelle similarly was like, I just have to, like, there's no use in, I can fight back from time to time, but like for the most part, I just need to take it and be like stone cold Steve Austin about it, because
I don't buy
that's going to piss him off even more.
So then she's trying to piss him off in her own way.
But we're forgetting one key element, and then maybe we should move on to these two, because we're only on episode 2. So we're going to have a lot more to talk about. But I want to throw one last little fire into the mix here, and just say, let's not forget about how lawyers have turned divorces into games.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that is, and I know she said we're still in the mediator process, I'm going to get, but like, we all have seen TV, we all have seen friends get divorced, we all know that it's a game, right? Who's going to win?
Yeah. Mediators are still expensive. They're just not as expensive as separate attorneys.
Yeah. And they're not, it's a game. Like somebody's going to win, someone's going to lose. So like, that's a part of all this too, whether it's conscious or not, is just the antagonistic behavior is part of the game.
100%. I just want to say one last thing and then I will shut up about them for the rest of the episode. I thought it was so wild in Jesse's confessional when he's like, I didn't cheat on you. I wrote it down because I didn't want to mess it up. He's like, I didn't cheat on her. I didn't lie to her. Maybe I was a shitty husband, but I didn't hurt her. And I'm like,
Well, what does shitty husband mean? Like, what is it And I'm also now even more confused about where the cheating happened. Did it not happen? First says it happened. Now he's 99% sure. Like, did she cheat on him or did she not? She didn't.
How about this? I'm just guessing. I don't think she cheated on him.
I think she did.
Yeah, I think she fully did. And she told Kristen and super regrets that. I don't think Kristen like pulls things out of nowhere. I think she gets her words wrong, but like I think it's like the semantics of it. I think that the dong went into the prong.
We got to figure out what that
prong. That's not a word.
Yeah, but I kind of like it. Dong went into the prong. We got to figure out what all of that was, because if they were just taking time in their marriage and she could go do what she wanted and he could go do what he wanted and she hooked up with someone, that's not cheating.
No, we should definitely.
Right, but
I never went.
We got to figure out what the hell it was.
I mean, that we took a break. I've never heard that. I heard that she had this boyfriend a year ago. I heard that she met this dude at Runyon Park and he would just text me every once in a while. That's weird. What? I don't know. I don't text any married girls that I meet at, I don't go to Running Park, but like, that's just a weird thing to do, to be like, oh, hey, let me get your number. Well, I'm married. Yeah, I'm going to text you a little bit anyways. What? Why? Weirdo. So like, was it that dude? But like, I've heard plenty of that. I've heard the Quentin Tarantino thing. I've heard all kinds of she's been out and about, and never heard that we were on a break.
Yeah, he said last summer when somebody asked him, like, what would you do if you ever found out? And he's like, I have no tolerance for that. Like, she could do anything else that I would never tolerate. So unless he was lying and they had already agreed to this thing and he had given her a green light, which again, like, I just don't remember any of that. But I also, when we were doing the rewatch, I ended up having to go out of town like halfway. I think I still had 4 episodes left. So like, I had watched it all already. I don't remember it, but I didn't do that last 4 episode of the rewatch. So I don't know what happened.
This is where I keep getting so confused, because at that dinner where he like loses his marbles and is banging on the table.
The first one or the second one?
The Capri dinner.
Yeah, there was 2 where he lost it.
No, the Capri dinner. That's when Kristen, they go out into the hall and she's like, I could say something to like blow up your whole marriage or whatever. And he's like, just say it. Just say it. You say, and Michelle's like, you say you're protecting me. Just say it. Say it.
Yeah.
And she said, your wife, like the boyfriend thing. And that's when she said, no, had a boyfriend a year ago. And she's like, and he knows that. So if he wouldn't tolerate cheating and he knew that, then that's why I'm confused.
Yeah, that is really confusing.
So we just got to get down to the bottom.
But in the hallway, she doesn't say that. In the hallway, she the thing is blown over seemingly. Everyone's gone, and her and Luke are in the hallway, and it seems maybe like Luke's like, all right, let's fucking go to bed now. And she's like, she's had a boyfriend for a year. Finally, somebody said it, or it's out now. And she walks off. And like, that's...
But then remember, they go outside and she goes up to Michelle and she's like, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry. And Jesse's standing next to Michelle, and Jesse's like, Michelle's like, Jesse knows everything.
Right.
So you're not hurting us. Like you say, you're even in your apology, I don't care because you're not hurting us. He knows everything. So that's why I'm just confused.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I just don't understand if he's openly admitting that he was a crap husband.
Yeah.
How is that not hurtful?
Yeah,
to someone?
No, I don't know. I just want to know what he means by being a crap
I had that note too.
If
like
that,
you
if
did
he
hurt
cheated
her,
on
not
her, then like that's a whole different story. If he had an affair. But
I don't think he did at all.
I think that's pretty ballsy to have an affair and then sit at the pool on camera and be like, that would be the end. I would just tell Isabella that, sorry, mommy ruined our lives or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's that's a bit.
Yeah.
I think Jesse's literally saying like, I didn't beat her. I didn't cheat on her. Like, so what? I didn't pay attention to her. And I went out at all hours of the night when she was home changing dirty diapers and breastfeeding. Like, so that's not painful.
Yeah.
And it's like
that note too. Like you did hurt her. Not the hurt that comes with cheating, but the hurt that comes with the marriage not turning out the way you imagined.
And
like,
treating someone badly.
Well, yeah. I don't think anybody imagines that their husband will treat them like shit.
And I do think because he is admittedly so, he has a really bad temper. Yeah. And I'm sure that he has lost it on her.
Yeah.
And like that verbal abuse is abuse. Yeah. Like, and I'm not saying that he's abusive. I'm just saying like, you hurt her, dude. Just, anyway. Okay. So then the next thing we get into is, it's now the rest of it is just the Jax of it all. The hot mess express. It's when Danny and Tiger Woods go over to Jax's house and Jax is like, I'm not at the bottom. And Danny goes, you're literally on your way to rehab. You were violent towards your soon-to-be ex-wife and you can't see your child. Define again.
No, when
define bottom, Jax.
It's not bad. And it cuts to his interview. What's bad?
Right.
Like when Danny says that shit's
like I guess
funny
throw in amoebic dysentery and like maybe.
Yeah, dude,
bad.
that shit's hilarious. I also don't know if I took that scene super serious just because like I don't remember who said it, one of you, that like you feel like Kristen would have been there, cameras or no cameras. These two, I was like, you guys are just here because Jax literally said, no one checks up on me. And then the producers were like, we got to do a scene with Jax where he goes off to his little thing here.
Don't you think they all knew, like, hey, Jax is going to rehab in a day. And so, like, you guys come over and say some stuff to him. Brittany, you come over and say some stuff before he leaves. Because now I can never remember his name, Tiger Woods.
Jason.
Thank you, Jason, took Jax to rehab.
Yeah.
So he was basically like on his way to the house when Britney was in there and she was texting him like, hey, are you here yet? Like he's losing it.
Yeah.
So I think it was all just planning because production's like he's going away and the whole thing was just, it was so nuts to me.
I like Jason so much. Right now, like I know will have something later on where he doesn't wear his wedding ring out or something like that. I wouldn't wear my wedding ring out either if I'm married to Janet, but that's another story. But I just think he's lovely, and he is just like, well, you've said, because Jax was kind of just trying to, weasel out of like the conversation because he thought it was like an intervention, which like it kind of was. But he just was like, no, you've told us all in different ways that you are having a hard time and you're depression, you have high anxiety, and you've reached out. Like he was very like thoughtful and like, he's good on camera, but like not in a way that you're like, oh, you're good at this. Just in a way that it's like, you're a very relaxed person living your life and like are not put off. Like you're not getting like sweaty, like knowing that these guys are watching right now. He did wear like a very Jesse, a Solomon shirt that was about a 2X too small, that knit,
I
just
never
those.
pay attention to people's clothes.
Those shirts are just so funny to me because like you just never saw guys like that we grew up with or even in our 20s and 30s like wearing they just didn't wear
pink macrame.
Yeah, like where you're seeing like you can see their skin through it if like you look like, oh, that tan is not another layer, that's their skin. Just the little knits, West is always wearing them, Jesse's wearing them. Like I didn't grow up with dudes
macrames, male macrames.
Yeah,
they're so hot right now. You guys at home or watching wherever you people on the other side of the camera don't know my friend Timmy, but Natalie does. And I have a note that Tiger Woods is Timmy. And if you're so lucky to have a friend like Timmy, good for you. Because Timmy he's a dude that's going to tell you exactly what you need to hear, the way you need to hear it, and you trust him 100%. So nothing he ever says makes you mad or upset or whatever. Because like, if Timmy's saying it, just shut up and fucking listen and probably go do what Timmy's telling you to go do, right? Because it's all for love. It's all coming from a good place. Jad is Jason. Jason is the Timmy in that friend group.
I feel like Timmy will say harder things to you, though. He will be
Jason is definitely nicer than Timmy.
And you're balding. While you're there, you should just ask them about the balding thing.
Yeah.
Just while you're there, you're how much you paying for this place? $30,000. I just feel like they've got to have more doctors than just like the one kind there. Like he would say something like that.
Tell him you're depressed about your bald spot.
Yeah, tell him you're depressed.
The stress led to the bald spot, which now has led to depression.
Yeah. No, I get way more entertainment out of Timmy than I do Jason. But I understand what you're saying, where Jason just wasn't backing down. He was like, "No, you called me and said you were having some problems."
And in the car when he was like, "I'm really scared." Like, yeah, really? You're about to go to a joint for 3 days. Yeah, be nervous. But he was like, okay, let's break down. Like, worst case scenario, what's the anxiety? Like, he's just very analytical, but sweet, and like knows who he's talking to, and caters to Ant-Man, you basketball player that you like. He talks about this all the time. He's like, there's 14 other dudes on the team. Every one of them you got to talk to. That's a basketball player for those who are not involved in sports. But he's like, there's 14 other guys on the team, and they all need to be talked to in a different way. This guy I can cuss at. This guy I got to ask him how his day was. This guy I got to be a little sensitive. This guy's got shit going on. Like, he's like, you got, and Jason is that. He understands that. Like, he understands that not everyone's the same, and know who you're talking to, and then dial in that advice for that person. He's really good at that.
Did anyone find it odd when Jax was like, I'm going to a mental hospital?
He's probably lying.
I was like, I thought you were going to a rehab.
Well,
I'm going to a mental facility, a mental hospital. I'm like, can you not, like, he can't be a straight shooter with a gun to his head.
No. Mm-hmm. One thing I just want to say about the guys, like, and Jason included, with Jax, there is one thing that keeps me just like, doesn't keep me up at night, but it definitely like keeps hope alive that like there is something there, because like this group of dudes I'm not saying that any of them are perfect. I don't know what this is season 2. We could find out a million other things about them. But between Jason and Danny and even Jesse, because I just don't think Jesse hangs out with a bunch of tools, that don't offer anything. Like, he has garnered a pretty solid group of dudes. And I know it's a show, and so maybe they're better friends now because they're all on the show together. But I feel like all of them have talked about meeting him and being like when Danny talks about meeting him in season 1, he's like, I'm telling my brother, or I'm telling, or Nia, or whatever, about this dude that I met. And they're like, Jax Taylor, he's the douchiest piece of shit and he's like, so I'm meeting him thinking this guy's going to be this character. And he's like, couldn't be further from the truth. He brought me in. He hooked me up with dad groups. He got my friend a job here. He the bouncer that Britney breaks up with, or that Britney breaks up, bones down with. He gets her not just a manager, his own manager. There might be something redeemable. It's just is it redeemable with all of the bullshit? I don't know. I look at redeemable as is the juice worth the squeeze? And I can't say that Jax has ever performed in any way where I would ever find his juice not only worth a squeeze, but you want to wear a hazmat suit around that juice.
Well, I'm definitely wearing a hazmat suit around that juice.
Yeah, but they all seem to really care about him and have he's been off the TV show game for several years. So I don't think he was offering some big Hollywood story for them. He's fucking the biggest loser on television. So if he had, I don't know, it's truly the only thing that makes me just keep a sliding glass door cracked, not even the cat can't even get through it, but it's cracked just enough to where if you had a credit card you could shimmy it.
I feel like it's a few things. I feel like, one, to reference my pie chart from last week, nothing is 100% anything, right? And like I always say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And I think that Jax has, I keep calling him Jack. Jax has all of those things going on. I also think that he is the beneficiary of having good people in his life, which dilutes his shittiness. So Britney is so sweet, right? Yeah. So even though Jax is a mess, we're going to their house. They've got a great house. They have a nice pool. Britney's made it so nice. If it was just Jax on his own, I don't know if they'd all be showing up.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Jax could ever garner, without a Britney, because they're all married, and so it would just be weird. That's the last person you want your husband, hanging out with.
Correct. So it's
Jax is a single
Nia's
guy.
at Britney's, hanging out with the babies. Jax and I are going to go, hit golf balls or whatever. Then you think about, the Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandovals that are still in his life, or at least Tom Schwartz, because that's who we see. I think there's some people that are just in your life for so long that they could be the world's biggest train wreck.
Yeah, those guys
just can't completely cut them out because
those guys are on a different thing. I'm talking about that guy. Jason does not seem like he'd be hanging out with, or even Danny Booko does, a God-fearing man with 4 babies and asking. What I mean?
I think a lot of it is circumstantial. I think it's our wives
They've said some very nice things about him. That was all I'm saying. Listen, I am not, again, I'm on with Mike. I'm not a Jax apologist. All I'm saying is that there's this thing about this group of guys that I think could be okay, yeah, we hang out with them now and again, but they have gone out of their way to say very lovely things about him.
But then see my aforementioned points. Nothing is 100% one thing.
I don't think that those guys hang out with somebody that's not 50% that is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, is that they seem like they're just in a level. I mean, maybe just specifically Jason. He just is he's a normal lawyer that helps people. I feel like he's one of those either helps people that maybe got fired for the wrong thing, or I don't know, just he seemed. I think he might be kind of a do-gooder lawyer.
Oh, really?
I think so, but don't quote me on that, but I think
I thought he did something more still a lawyer. Trust me, I'm not even close to a lawyer, so I don't want to say pencil pusher lawyer, but I just didn't know if he was a trademark attorney.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
But yeah, so no, I'm not.
Either.
So yeah, all the things I know, I understand. Everything's not 100%, and who cares? Fuck Jax. You're right. I don't care. Move on. I really don't care about Jax. I was just kind of trying to make a last comment of this guy might have something that I'm just not seeing, and I just want to tell the audience that I'm open to that. But he could set himself on fire, and I wouldn't be any skin off my back.
I do have a note that it says, I think I'm anxious to see a new Jax. Like, what is that? Do we really want that? You know what I mean? Like, Jax has been Jax for 12 years, 13 years, something crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what's reformed Jax?
Yeah.
And who wants that?
Is it even possible?
Well, I mean, that's a whole other real question. I'm just being funny. Like, you know, like we fell in love with Jax, love him or love to hate him because he's Jax. Obviously, I don't want this dude to have a coke problem and lose his kid and the whole thing in real life. But like, I kind of do for TV. Like, can't you keep playing one on TV?
So there's another another thing that I was thinking about, the thing with him and Britney. When she comes over, and like I said, Britney could come over on the regular and pee in all of his shoes, and I would be like, yeah, great, keep doing that 7 days a week. But when she comes over and she kind of like she has every right to say every single thing that she wants to say to him. But like, it just seemed like she was being more antagonistic when she came over, and he's clearly packing a suitcase, and she's like, you need help. And he's like, see this bag that I'm putting clothes in right now? Like, I think
there was something going on there, because the way he was yelling at the producers.
Yeah.
Like, that shit only happens when shit is going down. Like, you did not break the fourth wall. That's not a thing. You don't do it. So like, and when he's pulling his mic back, he's like, I'm not doing this on camera. She was bringing out, he either felt that she was about to bring up the coke thing on camera.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or it had already happened and they cut it out, or like, some real life shit was happening.
Like, maybe someone's trying to build their case, get it on camera where I say this. And
or what she said, one day you're going to realize that I'm the only one that loved you enough to force you to do this shit. When she said that, I was like, oh, that's what's going on. She said, I'm not keep saving this dude anymore. I'm not protecting him anymore.
Yeah.
I think it was out of love, and I think she finally hit her rock bottom in that moment and was like, you know what? Roll these cameras. You're the one with the coke problem. Boom, it's out there. Don't forget to tell the doctors about, because he's probably like, no, I told him I was depressed and had angers. And she's like, what about the fucking 8 balls you're sucking down every night?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not a problem. And she's like, no, dude, no, that's why you flip tables. Probably you're getting some good shit. Like, so I don't think she was being mean antagonistic. I think
she had an agenda, though. Like, I'm just saying, like,
but I don't know if it was a legal agenda.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a bad one. I think
her agenda
to make this a wider thing, to like kind of just pull out for just a moment. Jax has been Jax, like from day one. She married him after everything she's ever seen, which is way more than anybody ever wanted to know about this guy. She went into it. When they stopped filming, I could be missing something, but I never saw any dramatics in the media. Like, it was probably a solid 3-4 years that he wasn't on Vanderpump. He didn't have a show. I remember when we saw the Deadline headline that like Jax is getting a new show, and I feel like we talked about it a little on Uncorked, where I was just like, I hate this guy. Who thought anybody wanted to see this guy back on television? Like,
genius.
But like he's the most obnoxious guy. Like, you don't want to watch him. And I was like, God, how dare you do this? Because I'll go in and watch. But like I'm not enjoying watching him. I don't enjoy hating him. He just lies too much. It's like, it's awkward. He makes things awkward. But like, to know Jax is to know that the second that a camera crew gets involved, he loses all of his capabilities at like holding it together. It brings out the ego. It brings out like the Hulk in him. It seemed like he was fairly successfully managing that thing inside him when there were no cameras on. So when they agreed to do this show, I immediately said, so they're getting divorced, because like, you just know he's going to turn back into the guy that he is. If I know that, she sure as shit knew that. So I'm wondering if she was like ready to sort of like, if this was like like I'm things are how they are, we might get divorced out of this, but like there's this thing in him that I'm dealing halfway with all the time. Like just, I'm sure that there was lots of frustrations. Like I said, there was just no like big, like, remember he like a hit and run recently and like tried to take off and like a paparazzi was there and was like, I just saw what you hit that guy. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, there's just like things that have happened. Like, I can't remember the exact story, but
it was
in
like,
in the last 6 months, 8 months.
It was recently, but it wasn't like a full, it was like he felt that he just kind of like it was a nothing burger, and he was like, "Dude, that's nothing. I'm out of here." And the person
they were
was like,
"I want your insurance."
"No, dude,"
and he wouldn't give it to them. And they were like,
and he
"No,
was like,
that's
"Shut up! Are we
not
doing like I barely?" It was one of those things.
Yeah.
So,
I thought he like really hit a person and then started
but
driving.
like if you bump someone and they act like you got to give me your insurance, like it's not really your choice. Like what happened or didn't. That's what insurance is there. And that's what you call the cops. They decide what's happened and whatever. But like, I don't remember them having any massive problems while there were no cameras around. And it seemed like the day that they turned on, the whole shitstorm began again. So it just makes me wonder if Britney's like, this guy needs some help. Like he's just enough of a problem. If you put cameras back on him, he will implode again. He needs to get this fixed. I cannot live my whole life with this crazy person. And that's a reach. I have no idea. But like, I think that she either did this for him to have to face who he is and get some help, or she wanted out and knew I can get out. This show will give me the financial independence that I need to be able to not need a joint income necessarily. I can be an independent
or
woman
both,
and,
maybe
or all of it. Yeah. But it just is like interesting to think because she knows him. If I knew right away, like, oh, they're getting a divorce, then if he's getting a show, it's over because the only reason that he hasn't acted a fool is because he doesn't have anything to do.
I think a few things about that. I think number one, to your first question with like when she was there, not seeming antagonistic, like in a bad way, I think is how you put it. Not in a bad way.
Yeah, just kind of trying to force.
Yes, I think it's what we were saying earlier. We're like, no, everybody knows. Like Jason is on his way here. He's taking him to rehab. This is the last. I think she thought this is the last time, or might be the last time I talk to him over the next 30 days, and I need to say it.
Yeah.
So that it's out there and he's walking into this rehab, not just saying like, what, I suffer from depression, mental health runs in my family, which that could totally be true.
Yeah.
You also have a massive coke problem.
Yeah.
So I said it.
Yeah.
There you go. I said it.
Yeah. She forced his hand to make that admission.
Correct. And I think sometimes if you're in a really bad marriage and you don't know how to get out or whatever, like I do think subconsciously or consciously, you think if I put myself in this position, it's
go time.
Oh, you know what else I thought was just so... How does anyone believe this? When Jax is in his confessional and he's talking about how, or maybe he even said it when he was in the kitchen with Danny and Jason, but he was like, and then there's like my son and he doesn't know what's going on. I'm thinking to myself, he knows exactly what's going on. Kids absorb everything. Kids know mommy and daddy are fighting. Kids know.
Especially with the way they fight. Like they don't really hold back. And Britney, even when she's not fighting, she's like, hey, y'all. Like she's just got a very like, things are happening. You're hearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so ignorant for anyone who is the caretaker of a child to think if you are doing anything from yelling to doing drugs to being violent in front of a kid.
Do you remember when Doute decided that she wasn't going to tell her kids that her and PK were splitting up? And it was like, I thought her kids were maybe like 2 and 3. No, they're like 7 and 8 or something. Like they're at school. Their mom watches the show. You think someone's not going to be like...
I love it when they're like, my kids don't watch the show. And it's like, right, but your kids' parents
live in America, right? Like they go to school with like other people that have televisions and social media. Like, no, I don't understand any of that. I mean, I understand not telling a kid something that they just can't grasp. They don't understand what it means. But like, to pretend that your kids are so daft that they don't just see that like this is really tense in here, or like I don't live here anymore,
or like why is daddy in bed all day when it's sunny outside, and why is he in fits of rage all the time? Like I just think kids pick up on that stuff more than people are giving them credit, or at least Jax.
At the very least, they are they are nervous wrecks in their own homes. That's what I think.
When Jax walks in and he's like, oh, and the kid turns around and literally walks away from him, that's like the kid's first reaction. I'm guessing that kid knows what's going on.
Thank you.
And that understands that that dude is scary and loud and maybe throws things, even though I was in the other room. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty obvious sign to me. Even, like he went up and gave Zach a kiss when Zach got there.
Yeah. Oh, that was really sweet.
That was
And then
really
turned
sweet.
around and ran
I
from
loved
his
it when
own
Zach like kicked
dad.
water on, like in that like
Dude, that
that
shit was
serious
so
moment, and Zach
funny.
was like,
Zach did take it pretty well when he got splashed.
no,
was
he
like-
totally did. I think that he's so cute because I just think that like so many, like even I'm just like, get your kids out of here, like, and I assume that like someone like Zach is just like, do we have to do this right now? I'm trying to like
Don't
tell
you have a
stupid-
nanny?
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah. Zuli.
Yeah,
Zuli.
Zuli. That would have been hilarious if Zach was like, Zuli,
Hey.
I'm trying to have a conversation out here.
My
Zuli."
boyfriend might be deported, and I don't
Yeah.
even know if he's my boyfriend right now. We're on a break. It's complicated. We met on Grindr, but it got more serious. Just get the kid.
Watch the after show, Zuli. I'll explain it all there. I do love seeing Zach in a relationship, in love, vulnerable, all the things. I love that the guy, like when he called him and said, like, I would like it if you would just like try to move in and see how it goes. And I love that the guy's reaction wasn't like, okay, great. Like it was this planned conversation. He just says like, it's just hard for me to gauge if you're really serious about this or not, because that's what I would say. Like, do you really want me? Like, that's a big thing. And I just think a guy that's like, needs a green card pretty bad, like would be like, sure, be right over. But apparently he's an optometrist. He's like a very successful, level-headed, has made a nice home at the place, like that they were just talking about in the after show, that he's really like turned Zach into a real life boy.
Went and mopped to the floors so he didn't have to wear his flip-flops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for Zach too.
Yeah.
I really am. Just sorry, I know I said I wouldn't bring the couple up again, but it's not bringing them up. It's bringing up his girlfriend. Why is don't you think it's crazy when someone dates someone who's on a reality TV show and then proceeds to, don't mention me, I don't want to be like a part of the show, but then you talk to the people on the show, you tell them things, and then you send them all cease and desists? Isn't that weird?
I don't think it's weird. I mean, it's I don't know if weird is the right word, because there's definitely a vibe that it gives something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like
Something's off.
yeah, definitely. It's like yeah.
Could just be a power move too, though.
What?
Like it just like, okay, so every time, and I said this to you, like, when have I ever brought up a person, a story, something that like wasn't on screen? Like when I'm just telling you about this side note or this, I found this online, or I either put up the headline, I put up a photo of the person, or I put up a TikTok video. Like I never let us talk about someone that nobody knows who we're talking about, and for whatever reason, we never even said her name. I don't even know what her name is, but I mean, we looked her up. Like we could have said it in that. Like I said, I could have put a photo. I had it. I handed you the photo. You found 5 more that we were all passing around. For whatever reason, I didn't, which I'm so happy now, just because like, not that she is seeing this, but she also seems like the type she's probably Googling. She probably is searching every day for new, info, videos, recaps, whatever about the show to see like how she's coming off. But like now I would like to bypass her entirely going forward. And I think that could be a reaction that a lot of people in the media are going, like us or like the cast. You get a cease and desist letter, you just decide like that ain't worth it. Like I couldn't care less if we ever mention her again. We could just call her Blondie, like, whatever it is, allegedly
Lolly's
Blondie.
Dolly.
I don't know. Yeah, Lolly's Dolly. Yeah. So I think that sending that might have just like set kind of like a tone to like, you got to really want to talk about this person if you got to be ready to go, like, deal with more legal action, possibly, maybe not. So I think it was kind of a smart move for her to do if she doesn't want to be involved in any of these shenanigans.
But then if we're talking about everybody acting from their best place because there's a child involved.
Oh, I don't think she's doing it because there's a child involved.
No. I'm saying if we're talking about everyone acting from like their highest self, because in the mix of all of these adults, Lolly's Dolly, Lolly, his ex Lolly, and I think it's Lally, but I like saying Lolly better. Anyway, there is a child in the mix of all of this, right? Because Michelle said, listen, I don't know this person, but I hope she is a great person because she is spending a lot of time around my child.
Yeah.
It would behoove one to maybe before sending the cease and desist to just send a nicely worded email just saying like, listen, I know we don't have a lot of interaction, but I am around your child. I have the utmost respect for you as a mom. To just slam someone with the cease and desist and then play Barbie with
that's
their
a weird
kid.
thing
That's
too.
weird.
Like you've hung out with all these people because like clearly he's integrating you into his friend group, right? Which is fine. Aaron's same thing. Just tell him there. Tell him then. Like, just be like, hey, it's so nice to meet you guys. Just, I know we're dating, but like, I'm super low profile, low key. I would love it. I know they're going through a thing right now, and I get it. It's drama, like, woo, ratings. But like, if y'all don't mind, can we just keep me out of the picture? Like, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, 100%.
I don't think that that's necessarily true, but also, I
don't think the girls would. I think the girls would, and I think the dudes would be like,
you think Janet
who's that
would?
girl?
You think Janet's gonna not fucking gossip about this girl and tell you all about her and what
Janet
she
with
might
the
be dating?
lawyer husband, after she goes home and is like, can you believe this girl's dating so-and-so? And she told me, and Jason goes, I can't believe that, but you better keep your fucking mouth shut.
I don't know if Janet listens to anyone. I mean, I'm just thinking that's giving Janet a lot of
fine.
Like, you know, these girls, they're very, very gossipy. Sheena's very gossipy. I love Sheena Shea, big fan. But like, I mean,
Sheena's
all their
the one
husbands,
that's the Sheena.
I know, both of them.
I missed that the first time.
Both of those husbands say like, our wives are little chatty Cathys, and they just are naturally little bebopping around, getting all the stories and whatever. They've both made comments like that.
I love how Brock's like, I don't even know how she does it. Like, whenever she found the time, I'm like, oh, Brock, you're so cute and simple.
I love that Brock's on these after shows, but he's not been on the show yet. It's like, bring him on already.
They've got to get him weaved in there somehow. No, listen, I think, but she's shooting herself in the foot because you can't come in guns blazing saying I'm giving the bang down to David Hasselhoff. It couldn't be him. Are they talking about the reboot of Baywatch?
I mean, I have no idea.
It's got to be that. There's no way she's hooking up with David Hasselhoff. Allegedly. But my point is, you can't go down there and be with these people and say, I'm giving the bang down to one of the people on Baywatch and think that it's not going to enter into the conversation somehow. So don't say any of it.
No, listen, all I'm saying is that like what the move that she made, this person seems, I mean, I don't want to have anything to do with her. She's not my cup of tea. Like from what I've heard about her, I'm not calling her out to be like anything respectable or admirable, whatever. I'm not saying she's not. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that like the move made me go, I never want to talk about her again. And I'm a no one with like, come for me, come for my rent control department. Like, good luck to you squeezing any money out of here. Like, but it even made, so I just was thinking, not the worst idea in the world. If you don't care about like, you don't plan on being friends with these people anyway, or you just like have no interest, or you don't like them, or like whatever it is. If all of that is not a thing for you, what she did might have garnered the exact response that like it was the end game for her, which is shut the fuck up about me. Don't keep my name out of your mouth and we won't have any problems. Because I was like, 10-4, copy that. Like as soon as I saw
it seemed like
that.
everybody was.
Yeah, all of them were
I feel like
that.
everyone else talked about it and they just held up a sign that said allegedly.
I mean, listen, if you're banging David Hasselhoff, you're probably getting some good counsel.
Well, the fact that like nobody said David Hasselhoff, like maybe
because it's not David Hasselhoff.
Well, whatever, they didn't name whoever it was. I'm like, I don't care about her. I'm not defending her.
Yeah, no. I just thought it was a bold move.
I also just think that you might like the way that you keep talking about the better self thing. Like, I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying that the kid, like, no, they should do this because the kid. They should do it because of the kid. I don't expect them to do any of that. I'm saying that I'm not buying that Michelle is this perfect, like, I know you said she's not perfect, but I am not buying that she's this innocent little lamb. I think that she had just as much to do with the getting together and possibly the breakdown or the exit of her marriage. I'm not getting snowed by her self-control on camera. I think that you don't get involved in this relationship without being a certain kind of person, not a terribly bad person, just a person who carries their own and knows what they're doing. And she's not a no one. She has a great job. She's an independent person. She didn't need to stay with her husband for as long as she did. She didn't need to get married, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe she did, but it just seems like she had her own life and chose this person. And so I'm not going to be sitting here watching Michelle and being like, he's so horrible to her. And she's just trying to be a good mom. And she's just trying, like, would love to just like go on their separate ways. And she's doing everything she can to keep the peace. Like, I just don't buy that.
Do you think that it's 50-50? Like, he's just as bad as she is?
But like, I wouldn't put it past her. Like,
or like, what's your
Courtney, you would never date this guy. You would never in a million.
No.
Does that tell you nothing?
No, but
I'm not on team Jesse.
No,
actually, I am on team Jesse, but like I'm not on like.
No,
but for an entertainer, I don't believe that she is this innocent lamb in this situation. I think that she dug her grave.
And I've never said she's some innocent lamb and hasn't done anything wrong. That I don't think. I think I'm just more keyed in on him because he annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I think, and I've always said that. If you stop liking a friend of yours, like let's say this girl marries some guy and you're like, well, he's such an asshole. Well, she picked him. So that says something about her.
Yeah.
100%. I believe that. I just always think there's kinds of like shades of it. Because if I look at Britney and Jax, I do think Britney is she seems like a really good-hearted person from everything that we've seen over the however many years we've known her, 10 years. But it does say something about her that she picked him.
I don't know if they're done. After he gets out of rehab, I don't know if they're done.
Even if they're done, not done, like everyone says, like he's the worst. Well, that like according to this formula, right? Like then Britney's no angel.
Whatever Britney gets, I'm sorry, she deserves it. This guy showed not America, the world. Yeah. He was the worst. Somebody brought up in the comments about how this girl. We were trying to figure out who, like the story behind Stassi and Kristen getting axed from Sir.
Oh, they broke it down so great.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that that's the same girl. The girl that they accused of doing whatever it was, she was also the one that Jax had this affair with, and she recorded him saying all these horrible things about Britney. Literally said, I could never love her. I will never marry her. I'm not attracted to her. Yeah, great thing to do. Go get married to this guy now. And that's just one. I can't imagine. I feel like he slept with 10 different people.
Yeah.
And those are just like the back to back like people that it was just happening throughout the span. So like Britney is a lovely girl. I hope the best for her. I hope she gets everything she wants. But like this was like,
no,
if you
totally.
thought this was going to go any other way, Britney, like I don't know.
100%. So it's like, if I'm looking at Jax and Britney, I think Jax is 60%, crappy in this situation, and she was 40. I guess that was my question. Like on the sliding scale of, or do we think it's 50-50?
This was by far and beyond her choice. Time out. She chose him over and over and over
the writing
again.
Was on the
so
wall.
Like, I don't think she's like a shitty person, but with Michelle, like this is different because she's just her behaviors just seem very cunning to me, but like in very low-key controlled way.
Totally.
So it's like, it's sure one person is always going to be blatantly ridiculous asshole. Like there's always going to be someone in these situations, but like, I don't know who marries Jax Taylor, who marries Jesse Lally, like someone that can't ask for sympathy from me, like after said and done, I will always just feel bad and be pissed that you didn't just marry him, you had a kid, and now this kid is going to live a lifelong, bought back life, a lifelong fucking whatever of just being a middleman to these two people and feeling guilt and feeling codependent and feeling like they're trying to keep everyone happy. And like, it's just, fuck that. Like,
well, that's where the real tragedy of it is.
Yeah.
It's the kid.
Yeah.
For both of them.
Yeah. And Jax wasn't wrong when he's like, you could have, if I'm so horrible, you never left. You had years you could have left. You never left. Not only did she not leave, she was trying to have another kid with him. Like, I love Britney. I love her so much. I want her to have everything she ever wants, but like, goddamn, if she didn't ask for all of this in some weird way. Sorry. Not to get beat, not to get a table flipped on her, none of that, but to get cheated on over and over and over again and eventually have to decide like I'm taking my kid and going to an Airbnb, it was way more likely. It was a 90% chance this was going to happen.
It was 100% chance this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Comments? We got comments on the vow.
Janet said something very weird as we're looking for comments where she was like, and who wears white underwear? I'm like,
everyone.
I do. Everyone.
Why wouldn't you wear
There's actually a phrase, tighty whities, because that's how much white underwear is worn by all genders.
And like, if you'd have to wear a light color to wear like white jeans or linen pants or whatever. It was
just a very odd comment to me. I'm like, what do you?
If you have a problem with skid marks, Janet, shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear about your underwear problems and why you have to wear dark underwear. That's your problem. Sounds like a you problem, Janet.
Barf.
Sicko.
Barf. We're doing comments, right? Because this is a funny one. It's a funny back and forth. Catstein Y7X said, Jesse is perfect for LA. He's too new money for Boston. Is Jesse from Boston?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And then Gloria Garabay, 8679, says, no. Take him away. She doesn't want him here. And I maybe agree with you.
I feel like Gloria Garabay had a lot of good comments.
There were so many good comments.
Yeah.
Joanne with a good one too, and I'm so here for this. I want them to fire Kristen and maybe Zach and bring Lala and Schwartz full time. Oh, yes.
Kristen? No.
I don't like Kristen.
Zach, he's tradable. If we're trading, but Kristen ain't going nowhere.
Nettie agrees. Might be here for that. I don't like Kristen at all. Shocker. Nettie and I are on the same page. What do you know? Oh, Charlotte doesn't like Lala.
I love Lala.
I can't watch if Lala comes on. Schwartz, possibly. Charlotte, come on. Come on.
Johnny smiles. Janet and Tiger Woods suck.
Dude. Wait, Tiger doesn't suck. Only Janet
Tiger's
sucks.
all right.
It was a great comment. It was hilarious.
I liked
it's
it.
so funny.
Samesies. This is just sweet from Nettie. She goes, white parties, because pics come out amazing.
I saw that. That was super funny.
That's cute.
Not wrong.
Oh, if anybody's interested, the whole breakdown of the Kristen and Stassi and the counsel stuff, it is Truth for Peace for Freedom in our comments section from the last episode.
Yeah.
It's very long to read, but it is chef's kiss perfection. I was like, you want to come and work on this show?
No, they just keep getting better every week. And sometimes they vacillate between like just being super funny and telling like a really like detailed like comic story, and then other times it's just like serious like a research
hard-hitting news.
Yeah, hard-hitting news.
You're the journalist, Truth for Peace for Freedom.
Yeah, but you're also like showing up at open mic night sometimes, I think.
Last episode when I was like, the worst thing that Naomi from Southern Charm did was get a nose job, and so many people were like, I agree.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm so pro plastic surgery. I want everyone to do whatever's going to make them happy. I said this story to, I think, Meteor Wine.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I used to have this space in between my teeth, and my mom was, and I was like, oh no, I have this space, and I was not getting braces. And so I knew, like, I just thought it was going to stay there forever. And my mom's like, it's good. It gives you character. And I was like, character. And I just love character on people's faces. I think it just makes them so beautiful. And I thought that nose was just so beautiful and just fit her. It was great. Just an update from Trisha S. Vader. Jesse and I guess her name is Lacey, allegedly that's her name, are still together. She's a socialite and a philanthropist.
I love that. So
With this
she's
emoji.
A Paige DeSorbo, Patricia Altschul.
Yeah.
Johnny Smiles had something that I feel like I disagreed with, but I just wanted to read it. It said, my theory last season was that Britney owned the bar the entire time and that she most likely used her Jenny Craig brand ambassador money to fund everything. At the end of the season, when Jax took 4 hours to hang a sign, Britney clearly took over the situation. I could be wrong. I don't think so, because I think Britney's one of those people that would say like, and I own your bar. Like at this, she's out at everything else. And I just don't. Yeah. I think those guys wanted to go into business with Jax, and then Britney was getting her own bar until she didn't.
And because I feel, doesn't he say, he makes all those stupid comments that you were talking about. You're like, why are you saying this? Like, I didn't put any money into this. I don't know if he would say
never
that.
putting your own money. Right.
If it was about his wife, because I think he thinks that he owns everything she owns. And so I'm
Totally.
not sure that he would say that about himself, basically.
That's such a good point.
Carly T replied, from what Jax has said, he's put no money into the bar. It's owned by 3 other investors. They're just using his likeness. I hope Brit's super successful though. And I've heard that too, that like there was just some weird deal where like the guy who was there before didn't want to be there anymore and he left, but there was still a lease or something. They knew Jax, and so like they did a thing.
That's what we were saying. They didn't even make a sign. It's literally like a PVC banner.
Right.
Yeah.
That shows how like invested they are.
No, yeah. They're like, this is a toss up. This could go well because he does have a show now, but God knows how long he'll last on it. So we'll just put up this flimsy sign that we can easily just tear down.
Carly
Flip
said,
it over and make it
flip
Britney's.
it over, make it Brits. Oh, Brits.
Carly said, Carly T said she got a $2 million contract. Roz, I'm leaving out that one comment. It's funny but mean.
Wait, what?
There's this chain where Johnny says that. There's a bunch of replies where they're talking about like, well, Britney using her thing, and one dude was like, "What are you talking about?" She had a deal with Jenny Craig, and Carly T was like, "Yeah, she got a $2 million contract. They just re-upped it, her contract." So
She's still doing that? Oh,
Crazy.
God, she makes money.
that's what Carly says.
Like, well, I don't see anybody giving Jax those kinds of deals. Like when they were talking about him not wanting to go to rehab because like he's got to go to this appearance for $4,000. Like he's still doing appearance fees for $4,000 and she's getting $2 million Jenny Craig deals.
Yeah, no wonder she's like, I am an independent person and I put this money down on the house and rot in hell.
How would he not just want to just not say anything? Like I know like we talk about how like his word means nothing, it doesn't matter, but like why would you even set yourself up to be humiliated after all she has to say was, oh, you mean the $2 million a deal that I just made? Like, what was that? Are you going to make that $4,000 appearance fee? Listen, I'd love to make a $4,000 appearance fee, but
we're
just saying,
for hire.
Like, yeah, and he's hawking $20 mascaras,
Half-used jugs of protein powder.
Now in the hair stuff, he's got the hair deal.
Yeah,
I did agree with him though when he said, why does anybody feel bad about selling stuff on eBay? I'll make as much money as I can. Like, I mean, he's a dad and a husband and a mortgage payer. Like, I don't shame him at all for that, but don't say you paid for everything with your used mascara money when this bitch is bringing in $2 million for the weight loss company.
it was kind of funny when Jason goes, I'm literally driving him to rehab and he hands me a tube of mascara and he's like, can you drop this off at USPS? This is the Joanna Greco comment you were referencing, Nat.
Yeah.
So you're saying Jesse is a sociopath because sociopaths get better at tricking people with therapy. I was a psych major, not a sociopath, LOL. That's what Joanne said. I'm actually an empathetic person, and unfortunately so many sociopaths and narcissistic people are attracted to empathetic people. I've dated a few of those crazies. There's no helping them and no cure for narcissists and sociopaths.
I was like, after I read that, I was just thinking, like, I think all that's true. How shitty is it? There's no cure for narcissists. Like there's no therapy or help for it, or like, that's just, that's like a death sentence of horribleness, you know?
I wonder if there's like a sliding scale of it though. Do you know what I mean? Because you know how your best quality is your worst quality inside out. So like, I'm a talker, America, clearly. And that is maybe coming in handy in certain areas. And then I'm sure it's annoying the piss out of people also in the same areas that it's coming in handy. And so I just think that if you learn how to work with these things, it can be better than it harming you. And I'm wondering if that's the case for specifically a narcissist, or if it's just like, no, you got to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, if a whole thing about being a narcissist is believing that you're smarter than everyone and that like, just like no one, like you're basically a level above, you would then have to believe that was wrong, or like you have to admit you were a narcissist, which would then be admitting that the things that you think you aren't. So it just made me think, like, I don't understand. I feel like it's a lot to say that like someone can't be cured. You know, I feel like
Totally.
if anybody wants to be, they can. But if the definition of a narcissist is these things that basically say that like you just, it doesn't matter what is happening, you are living in a delusion where you think that you're this, that, and the other. And I don't know how that, if you're able to seek help for narcissism, it seems like you'd be cured right then and there because you would know that you needed help. It seems like if people that go to therapy for it would be like their wives are saying, I'm leaving if you don't go to therapy. And they'll be like, okay, I guess I'll go, but I'm just going to be listening to everything this person says and stacking it. Yeah. Like, so she could be right. There might be no cure, but that's a harsh sentence I never thought about. It's a bummer.
Womp womp.
The analogy that comes to mind is like it's trying to find where your skin starts.
Yeah. Some of my favorite ones this week are by Sela Chica. Love this show. Raw Vibes Wanda V. Love the show.
Yeah, there were a lot of new people that were really loving the show. Thanks, guys.
We like
Yeah.
new people.
Rebecca Krakow. Yay. Thanks for covering the Valley. New show. Same great podcasters. I even signed up on Spotify too. Enjoy your show. I'll take
That was
it.
amazing.
Yeah. That means number 13. Woo! Things are happening. Okay. I watched because you guys were doing a reaction and I missed my Nautify trio. That's Christy Chic. I knew you'd come. Well, I didn't know, but I prayed on it.
Had faith.
But wait, are you going to finish that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, would you like to? Go ahead.
It's just funny. It's
Please
super funny.
go.
She said, I want to call this episode Tits to Lula. Because there's so many boobies in it. It's not attractive to lead with your tits out. Much more appealing to cover up and have some class. Don't disagree. And they're all moms. My grandma had an expression about her sister. No one wants to see Beatty's breasts coming around a corner before the rest of her shows up. Oh,
A good
funny.
grandma is the greatest.
That's so funny.
Yes. Because 77 just had some emojis, but I'm taking them as compliments. Joanne Greco thinks Michelle put off leaving so she could be on the show. I think so too. I don't blame her for that because get that money.
Yeah,
Wait,
same. I
she
don't
put
blame
off leaving for what? Say that again?
Like she clearly, so I remember reading a comment just like that wasn't here, maybe Chicks in the Office or somebody said something like, so these two are getting divorced now. They seem like they wanted to get a divorce, like they were getting a divorce when we met them, but now we've got a season ahead of us. So I guess we'll just reschedule that hearing or whatever. Yeah. That's what it has felt like, that they have hated each other since we met them. And, but I don't blame her for being like, no, I'm going to be on the show. I'm in real estate. This is like the best platform. I couldn't think of a better platform to get your name out there as someone to call to sell your house.
And just to get a paycheck.
Don Simmons, you are by far the best show. I'm just reading like all the ones.
Yeah, just all the love.
Yeah, like you guys skipped all of them. Like you don't want to be heady, but I'll take that. I'm so here from Mia Taylor. Thank God Mia's here. Natalie cracked me up today. This is the gold comment. This should be highlighted from By Mia the way, Armstrong. I don't know what I was saying.
You were hilarious. I was LOL.
I felt like I was being in anger. I was in my anger state of just talking shit on people that willy-nilly their marriages and divorces. Oh, Maggie McNaughton says, I think you girls should make Mike hate watch Real Housewives of New Jersey from the beginning. Please report back how much he hates Teresa for your followers. You know, Christy Sheeks watches New Jersey. I don't think she has bad taste.
That's true.
And not for nothing, it's going to come back in some new form because they have to revamp it. Like they know that's what they're doing now. So I'd be curious if maybe that was something we dipped our little toes in. Also,
I feel
fun
like
fact about me, I'm from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, which is where it all started.
I want to do like I don't think we have enough subscribers to be this bold yet. But we're getting there, and thank you for that.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. I do want to do like if we get to X amount of subscribers, then I'll start watching the things.
Oh,
but I don't know what that number is. It's probably
10,
close to 1 million.
We need 10,000 subs to, I think, I'm just throwing that number out there, to be attractive for people to want to work with us. Like we need more editors, and more editors means more shows. So it's not about, what can we get? It's about how can we expand? Yeah, how can we do more shows? Because everyone chimes in. Somebody wants us to do, obviously, Housewives. Someone brought up doing Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, like, which we watch, which I would love to do. But again, one episode takes me a minimum of like 12 hours to cut the whole thing. And then if it's like kind of wonky and I have to like zhuzh it up, then it will go into the next day. And then I can't post until the following day because you want to post at 5 a.m.
Also, that's
whatever.
Insane.
All
12
the
hours in front of an edit bay.
Oh, yeah. But like, I don't mind if that's 2 of my days a week and then the other 2 are show days. And then I got to fucking clean house, do the laundry. And one day I'm actually going to.
Remember he said last episode he does the dishes.
Meteor Wines says, gosh, I love this long form gossip. I'm just trying to understand who is more pathological here. You find people for making this or me for watching every minute. Don't ask questions, Meteor.
Just enjoy.
Yeah, just enjoy. Oh, okay. We did get one other comment on Spotify from MR. MR just says, love the show. And I'll take it. You're the second person to ever comment on our Spotify account.
But about the 8th person on the season 2 of The Valley to say, I love this show. So
yeah,
I feel like hopefully we can make you guys proud as we cover it all season.
Yeah.
Because we're very passionate about this show.
Yeah. Hey, Foof.
Hey, Foof, you look so foofy.
He'll let you bite me.
But now you see, but you were asking for it.
No,
see, Natalie, you're part of the problem.
I know,
okay.
Sometimes I just go like, Foof will just be like, you can see him flapping his tail and whatever. And I'll just go, Foof needs a win. And I just go like this. And he never passes it up. He's never like, that's sweet of you. Thanks. But I'm good right now. He goes every time. Ah, Foof. One other thing, if anyone cares, just so you know, like all of our accounts are different. Mike gets every single thing emailed to him, but like if anyone is commenting on episodes that aren't new, if they're talking to me, I likely don't see them unless I go back through. So just at us if you want us, if you're watching an old episode of something and you want us to know if it's to us in particularly, just so you know, if I have never not responded to something, it's because I don't see it. So I just. You asked me the other day, oh my God, did you see so-and-so's? And it was like a really beautiful comment. And I hadn't. And I thought, God, if you had never told me that came in, I would have never known. And like, that was just so much like personal things to like say to me. And it was about also with my dad and whatever, like, I would just never want someone to think that like, oh, whatever, thanks, on to the next. Like those mean everything to me. So I want everyone to know, just at me if it's to me and it's in an older episode. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, we don't forget about you guys.
No, we like live and breathe.
I feel, I always do that too. I'm like, oh my God, did I forget to like something? Did I forget to say something back?
Yeah.
Same, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like my mom, where she's like, Cork, when you come visit, you can set up the boosters. And I'm like, okay, like I'm IT for them. Who's IT for me? It's certainly not B, the cat.
Yeah. Half the time my replies like, they're invisible to me. I don't even know where they went.
Yeah, I post it, and I think it takes time to get approved because I want to make sure you're not saying anything mean or.
I'm not saying anything mean. I say all the mean stuff live and direct.
Yeah, right. She says that to me. Well, thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you. We'll see you for Summer House in a few days, and then we'll see you next week for another riveting episode of Le Val.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, ciao,
No,
ciao.
it's too late.
Yeah, it sounds so much better when you say it.
No, I would.
Ciao.
Sarah McBride sent me something that was pointing out something from Summer House. And it was just something I wouldn't have caught. And I just, you all have our Instagrams. Fire off any news stories that you think that we should see while we're talking about these things. Because I was none too pleased when I got this news from Sarah. And it's changed everything for me.
Wait, what happened?
Wrong show. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
I was going to say love you too.
Oh, great.
Yeah.